All right, you took your medication, you waited, you felt it kick in. And for a little while, life felt manageable. Your body loosened up a little bit, your walking felt better, your brain came back online, and you started thinking, okay, we might actually make it through this day without turning into a human statue in aisle 7 of the grocery store. And then suddenly, your foot starts dragging, your body gets heavy, your brain slows down, your mood drops, your voice gets quieter, and you feel like someone walked over to the wall, found your power cord, and unplugged you. That is an off period. And if you live with Parkinson's, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's the part that most people miss. Off periods are not always random. Sometimes they're being made worse by things that we do every single day without even realizing it. So today we're talking about 5 Parkinson's off period mistakes that may be destroying your day. And stay with me till the end, because I'm going to give you the exact sentence that I would use with my neurologist if I was trying to explain my off periods without rambling, guessing, or saying, I don't know, I just feel weird around 2 o'clock. Because apparently, I feel weird around 2 o'clock is not considered a complete medical charting system. Rude, honestly.
Welcome to Living with Parkinson's. The good, the bad, and the reality. Real talk, real life, real community with Bryce Perry. Let's begin.
Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Bryce, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 40, and I've been living with it now for over 15 years. And this week, we're starting a little mini-series on the Parkinson's moments that can wreck your day before you even realize what's happening. And so today, we're starting off with off periods. Next episode, we're going to talk about sleep mistakes that can destroy your next day before your feet even hit the floor. And let me tell you, Parkinson's sleep is not just sleep. It's sleep plus stiffness, plus weird dreams, plus bathroom trips, plus lying there at 3 in the morning wondering why your big toe feels like it joined a union without telling you. But today, we're talking about the off periods. Now, an off period is when your medication is not giving you enough symptom control. Stiffness comes back, walking gets harder, your voice might get quieter, brain fog rolls in, your body feels like it's moving through mud. Now, that's not laziness, it's not weakness, and it's not you being dramatic, it's your dopamine system running out of fuel. So, let's talk about the 5 mistakes that could be making these crashes even worse. Mistake number 1, waiting until you're already off. Now, this is probably one of the biggest mistakes people make, and I get it, because, I've been there, I've done it too. You're going through your day, and you're feeling okay, and then you start noticing little things. Okay, whatever your main symptoms are usually, but maybe your foot starts dragging a bit. Maybe your hand starts getting tighter. Maybe you get up from the chair and your body says, absolutely not. We've discussed this and we voted no. And then you think, okay, maybe I should just take my next dose. But here's the problem. By the time you feel off, you may already be behind. You're not preventing the crash anymore. Now you're chasing the crash. And chasing an off period, it's kind of like waiting until your car is completely out of gas on the side of the road before you say, you know what, maybe I should start looking for a gas station, right? Now, that's not a plan. That's a rescue mission. And a lot of us live in rescue mission mode. We wait until we feel bad, and then we take the pill. And then we wait for it to kick in, and then we get frustrated because it doesn't kick in as fast enough. And then we wonder if the medication's failing. And sometimes the medication just may need adjusting. That's a true story. And that's a conversation for you and your doctor. But sometimes the problem is that we're always trying to catch up. We are behind the crash all day long. And I know some people don't like alarms. I get that. Alarms can feel annoying. Trust me, I know. They can make you feel like your whole life is being run by a tiny, bossy robot in your pocket. But for Parkinson's, that tiny, bossy robot might be one of the best tools you have. Because off periods love when we guess. They love when we say, I'll remember. No, you won't. You have Parkinson's, a busy life, brain fog, and possibly 3 things sitting on the stairs you meant to bring upstairs over yesterday. Now, you're not remembering, so set the alarm. Track when your medication usually starts wearing off. And if you're consistently going off before your next scheduled dose, you have to bring that information to your doctor. Not because you should change things on your own, but because your doctor can't adjust what they can't see. So, mistake number one is waiting until you're already off. The better approach is to get curious about the timing before the crash takes over. And be honest in the comments. Are you a timer person? Or are you a I'll take it when I feel it person? No judgment, right? This is the Parkinson's confession booth, right? The curtain's open. We've all sinned against our pill schedule at least once. Come on, be honest. All right, mistake number two, ignoring food and protein timing. Now, before anybody panics, I'm not saying you need to live scared of every bite of food. I'm not saying you need to look at a sandwich like it owes you money. Food is not the enemy. I love food. Food and I have a long and meaningful relationship. But food timing can matter with Parkinson's medication, especially for some people taking levodopa. And, of course, you know this, protein can be a big one. For some people, protein can compete with levodopa for the absorption. So, if you take your medication with a heavy protein meal, your dose might not kick in the way you expect it. Or it might kick in late, or it might feel weak. Or you know what? You might just be sitting there thinking, did I take my pill? Or did I just stare at that bottle and hope for the best? Now, listen, I'll be honest with you. I do not personally plan my entire life around protein timing. I eat when I eat, and I drink when I drink, and I manage from there. Now, that's me. But everybody's Parkinson's is different. And for some people, food timing is a major piece of the puzzle. So, if you notice that your medication does not seem to work well after certain meals, it might be worth paying attention to what you ate around that time. Maybe it was a big protein heavy breakfast. Maybe it was a meat heavy meal. Maybe it was a protein shake. Bad mistake. Maybe your levodopa is sitting somewhere in your stomach having a meeting with lunch, right? The point is not to panic. The point is to notice. For 1 week, even just 1 week, track your medication time, your meal time, and whether the meal was protein heavy, when your medication kicked in, and when you started feeling off. That's it. You don't need to become a food scientist. Just write it down or track it in the club. Because if there's a pattern, that pattern can help your doctor, your pharmacist, or your dietitian guide you. And if there's no pattern, then great. Now you know. That's the power of tracking. It doesn't always tell you what's wrong. Sometimes it tells you what's not wrong, and that matters too. So, mistake number two is ignoring food and protein timing, not obsessing over it, not living afraid of lunch, but just ignoring it completely when your off periods keep showing up at the same time every day. All right, moving along. Mistake number three, forgetting that constipation can mess with medication. Now, I know nobody clicked on this video hoping we'd take a scenic tour through the bowel functions, but here we are. Welcome to Parkinson's. Please enjoy the stiffness, the medication schedule, the mystery fatigue, and the surprise plumbing issues. That is the part that nobody puts on the brochures, do they? And yet constipation can be a huge deal in Parkinson's. Parkinson's can slow the gut. And if your gut is moving slowly, your medication may not move and absorb the way you expect it to. So you might take your pill at the right time. You might take it with water. You're right. You might have avoided the protein. You might do everything right. And then your stomach says, thank you for your submission. We will process your request in 3 to 5 business days. Right? Now that's a problem because delayed absorption means your medication kicks in late or weak or unpredictable. And when that happens, your off period can feel really random. You think, I don't understand. Yesterday, this dose worked. Today, it didn't. And maybe the issue isn't the dose. Maybe the issue is traffic. There's a traffic jam in your digestive system, and your levodopa is stuck behind a slow-moving parade float. Now, I know this is awkward to talk about, but we've got to stop being embarrassed about symptoms that are incredibly common in Parkinson's. Your neurologist has heard the word constipation before, believe me. And I promise you will not be the first person to bring your bowels into the room, right? They will not faint. They will not clutch their pearls. They will not say, sir, this is a neurology clinic. Because constipation is part of the conversation. Hydration can help some people. Fiber can help some people. Movement can help people. Medication and other treatments may be needed for some people. But the key is this: talk to your healthcare team about it. Do not just suffer quietly because it feels embarrassing. Because if your gut's affecting your how medication works, then constipation is not just a bathroom issue. It can become a Parkinson's management issue. So, mistake number 3 is forgetting that constipation can mess with medication. It's not glamorous, it's not fun, but it's very real, right? And if you're watching this and you're thinking, "Well, this took a turn." Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Parkinson's does that. One minute you're talking about dopamine, and the next minute you're discussing fiber. It's a very strange club. The club that no one wanted to join, but here we are. Okay, mistake number 4 is not tracking your off periods. Now, this is huge because you cannot fix what you cannot see. Most of us describe off periods in really vague terms. My afternoons are bad. My meds don't last. I crash sometimes. I get weird around 2 o'clock. And I understand why we say it that way because when you're living with it, it feels messy. It feels confusing and it changes day to day. And then you get to the doctor's appointment and suddenly you're supposed to summarize the last 6 months of symptoms in 7 minutes while sitting under a fluorescent lights on a paper covered table. And of course, that's the moment your brain always goes blank. The doctor says, "How has your off periods been?" Your brain says, "We have deleted all records." So you say, "Fine, I guess." Meanwhile, at home, you were stuck in a chair yesterday at 2:15, wondering if your leg had filed for separation. And that's why tracking matters. Tracking gives you a language. And if you watched Bryce Unplugged this past week, we talked about this idea. Sometimes people with Parkinson's do not need more information. Sometimes we need a better language. And tracking gives you that language. It turns "my afternoons are bad" into "I tend to wear off around 2 o'clock, especially after I eat a heavy lunch. And the first symptom I notice is my right foot dragging." Now, that is a very different conversation. And now your doctor has something to work with. And if you live alone, tracking becomes even more important because nobody else may notice the crash before you do. Nobody may hear your voice getting quieter, and nobody may see your walking change. No one may notice you getting slower or more withdrawn. Your notes become your second set of eyes. And that's not because you're failing. It's because your future you deserves help. When you're on, build a system that can support you when you're off. Set the medication alarms. Keep backup pills where it makes sense and where it's safe. And keep water near your medication. And use a simple tracker. Put a note on the fridge if you need to. Make the plan when you are doing okay so that when you are off, you're not trying to build a rescue system with a brain running on a low battery mode. Living alone or with no support at home with Parkinson's means you have to become your own support crew. And some days that crew is tired, cranky, and looking for snacks. But systems can help you. And you are worth the effort it takes to build them. Let me say that again. You are worth the effort that it takes to build them. Now, tracking does not need to be complicated, right? Don't turn this into a color-coded NASA launch panel unless you love that kind of thing. Some of us do. And some of you hear spreadsheet and your soul lights up like a Christmas tree. Good for you. That's beautiful. But for the rest of us, tracking can be simple. Scribbled notes. I ate lunch again. I went off around 2. Bad sleep, rough morning. Forgot water, became human raisin. That counts. It does not need to be perfect. It does, but it needs to be useful. That's why I built trackers in the club just for you. And they're free. It's all free. So get in the club. Link is in the description below. Track your medication time. When it kicks in, when it wears off, what you ate, how you slept, stress, constipation, exercise, big emotional events. Because, yeah, stress can make everything louder. Parkinson's loves stress. Stress walks into the room, and Parkinson's goes, "Finally, my weird little friend is here." And all of a sudden, your symptoms start acting like they got extra funding. So track for 7 days, not forever, just 7 days. You're worth it. Enough to look for patterns, enough to bring something real into your next appointment. Because the goal is not to become obsessed with Parkinson's. The goal is to stop guessing. So mistake number 4 is not tracking your off patterns. Now, this is where you stop saying, I don't know what's happening. And you start saying, here's what I'm noticing. And that matters. Okay, mistake number 5, letting dehydration amplify everything. Now, this one sounds really simple. Actually, sounds almost too simple. Drink water. Wow, Bryce, groundbreaking. Should I also breathe oxygen and avoid walking into walls? Yeah, you do. You should, preferably. But hydration really does matter. And a lot of us are walking around mildly dehydrated without even realizing it. And maybe it's because you don't feel thirsty. Maybe it's you don't want to run to the bathroom all day. Maybe it's because you're busy. Maybe it's because coffee feels like water if you believe hard enough. And spiritually, I support that. But physically, your body may disagree. When you're dehydrated, everything feels heavier. Fatigue can feel worse. Constipation gets worse. Lightheadedness can show up. Your body may feel slower. Your medication may feel less predictable. Sometimes we're walking around like a dried up houseplant, wondering why our leaves are drooping. And the answer is not always dramatic. Sometimes your body just needs water. Now, I'm not telling you to chug a lake. Don't do that. Nobody needs to become a walking aquarium. But build little habits. Keep your water near your pills. Every time you take your medication, take a decent drink of water. Not a heroic chug where your stomach suddenly sounds like it's a washing machine. Just enough that your body knows you still care about it. Put water where you sit. Put water by your bed. Keep some in the car, but make it easy to get to. Because Parkinson's already makes enough things complicated. And if the solution requires a 12 steps, 3 apps, a laminated chart, and motivational speeches to get you going, then we probably are not going to do it. But if the water is beside the pills, that we can do. So mistake number 5 is letting dehydration amplify everything. And I like that one because it's not about fear. It's an easy win. You may not be able to control everything Parkinson's throws at you, but you can give your body a better chance. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not fancy. Sometimes it's just taking your pills on time, marking down what happens, and drinking the water sitting in front of you. Which, by the way, I have absolutely forgotten to do while talking about drinking water. So there's always that. All right, now that's going to bring us to Carmen's Care Partner Corner. But before I read what my wife Carmen wrote for Care Partners, remember, still coming up, and don't miss this, I'm going to give you the one sentence that I would use at my neurologist for this, okay? So here's what Carmen has to say. From the Care Partner side, off periods can sometimes show up before the person with Parkinson's says anything. I might notice that Bryce gets quieter. He moves slower. His face changes. He may seem more frustrated or more withdrawn. And sometimes, if I ask, are you okay? He'll say, yeah, I'm fine. Actually, most times. But I can tell something has changed. The hard part as a care partner is knowing how to help without making the person feel watched or corrected. Nobody wants to feel like they're being monitored all day long. So instead of saying, did you take your pills, in a way that sounds like blame, it may help to ask a softer question like, are you feeling off right now? Do you need a few minutes? Or would it help if we slowed down? Do you want me to write this down so we can tell the doctor? Care partners can sometimes spot patterns the person with Parkinson's is too tired to notice. But the goal is not to control them. The goal is to support them. Because off periods are not just hard on the body. They can be frustrating, emotional, and discouraging too. And a little patience goes a long way. Thanks, Carmen. I love that. I really do. And honestly, that line about not making people feel monitored is huge because nobody wants to feel like they're living with a Parkinson's security camera. Sometimes we need help, but we still need dignity. We still want to feel like adults. We still want to feel like we're part of the conversation, not the project being managed. So thank you, Carmen. That was really good. I appreciate that. Now, Carmen just told you what this can look like from the outside. Now, let's make sure your neurologist can see it too. Because if they can only see you during a good on moment, then they may never understand what your day actually looks like. And isn't that always the way? You struggle all week. You finally get to the appointment. You sit down in front of the neurologist, and suddenly your medication decides to perform like it's auditioning for Broadway. Your walking's better. Your voice is strong. Your tremor calms down. And your body's sitting there like, Parkinson's? Never heard of her. Meanwhile, yesterday you were trying to get out of a chair like you were negotiating with airport security. So here's the sentence that I promised you at the beginning. If I was trying to explain my off periods clearly to my neurologist, here's what I would say. I'm noticing a pattern where my medication seems to wear off around blank, especially when blank and the symptoms I notice first are blank. That's it. Now, let me say it again. I'm noticing a pattern where my medication seems to wear off around, especially when, and the symptoms I notice first are, write that down. That sentence gives your doctor 3 things that they can work with. It gives them a timing, a trigger, and it gives them symptoms. So instead of walking in and saying my meds aren't working, you say, here's when they stop working, here's what seems to make it worse, and here's what first happens. And that, I promise you, will change the whole conversation. All right. And that brings me to today's Bryce-ism. You ready for it? Here it is. With Parkinson's, an off period can feel like your body betrayed you. But sometimes it's not betrayal. Sometimes it's a pattern, waving a tiny red flag saying, hey, genius, maybe write this down. That's good. And the cleaner version is this. Sometimes an off period is not random. Sometimes it's a pattern trying to get your attention. All right. If this video helped you, hit that like button. Not for me, but for the person sitting at home right now, thinking their off periods are random, or thinking that they're failing somehow, or thinking they're the only one crashing like this during the day. One click helps YouTube show this video to them. And if you're walking through Parkinson's yourself, caring for someone who is, or trying to understand this disease better, subscribe and join us here. This community is full of people who get it, people who are trying, people who are learning, people who sometimes forget their water bottle while making a video about hydration. And in the comments, tell me this. What is your biggest off-period mistake? Drop it in the comments because your comment might help somebody else spot their own pattern. As always, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this community. And until next time, I want you to keep showing up. I want you to keep being real. And I want you to keep doing life today. I love you. See you on the next episode.